In this slide, I will talk about metric unit conversions. And I noticed over the years that students have a lot of difficulty trying to interpret the typical metric unit tables, how to find conversion factors between metric units, etc. So I made this kind of a diagram to show you maybe hopefully an easier way to approach the metric unit conversions. So in this diagram here, we've got the metric units starting from the larger ones. So anything that's on top is larger. So we're going from top to bottom, from larger to smaller units. And then as we go down, these are the conversions that we're going to use, or if we go up, we're going to use the divisions. So how does this work? First of all, here in the middle would be the base unit. Now this can be anything. This can be meters, this can be grams, this can be liters, etc. So that will go here, and it's your 0 point, if you will, your starting point. And you will know what the unit, the base unit is by the second letter of your symbol. So in this case, for all of these, I had to pick something, so I picked the meter. But this could be grams, so it would be small g, it could be liter, etc., etc. So the second letter tells you what is the unit, and then the first letter of the symbol, that tells you what the prefix is. So G stands for giga, M, capital M, not to be confused with little m. This is the mega, this is the K is the kilo. Then you go to the base unit, which in this case would be just meters, not with anything in front of it. It would just be this letter. And that's how you know it is the base unit, because it doesn't have a first letter or prefix. Then the C is the centi, the little m is the milli. This, what looks like a U, is the micro, and then the N is the nano. Now you can have the tera up here, which is another 1,000, or you can also have the pico, which is another 1,000, smaller than nanometers or larger than the gigameters. But I just included the majority of what we're going to see in this course and in your homework. So how does this work? Well, anything that's larger, so anything that's on top, it's going to be larger than anything that's on the bottom. Then I say follow the arrows. So if you start from the top and you're going down, converting to, let's say I start from gigameters, converting to kilometers, how many steps does that take? Well, it takes 1, 2. Since I'm starting from here and I am converting to kilometers, I follow the arrows down, and there's only 2 steps to go from the gigameters to the kilometers. However, each step I need to multiply by 1,000. So to go from gigameters to kilometers, I multiply by 1,000 and another 1,000. So I multiply by 1,000,000, or count zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Since I'm multiplying by 1,000,000, I can move the decimal place of the number that I'm starting with to the right 6 places, corresponding to 6 zeros. So let's say I have 5.2 gigameters. I will move the decimal place to the right 6 times, or it will be 5.2 times 10 to the 6th kilometers. So 5 gigameters is 5.2 times 10 to the 6th kilometers. If I want to go from gigameters, so the amount that I'm given in the problem is gigameters, and I'm going all the way to centimeters. It wants me to convert to centimeters. How many steps is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. And I need to multiply, or I need to move the decimal space to the right by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times. So I move the decimal to the right 11 times, or I multiply by 1 times 10 to the 11th because I have 11 zeros. Let's say I start from my base unit, which in this case will be the meter, but it could be grams, it could be liters, etc. And I want to convert to millimeters. How many steps is that? 1, 2, it's multiplied by 100 and by another 10, or by 1,000. So I move the decimal space 3 times, because of 3 zeros, 3 times to the right. You will notice that as you move from a larger unit down to a smaller unit, you get a larger number for your answer. So if I started with 5.2 gigameters and converted to kilometers, which is a larger unit going down to a smaller unit, my answer gets larger because it became 5.2 times 10 to the 6th kilometers. The opposite is true if you're going the other direction. So if I start at the bottom, if the value that the problem gives me is lower in this scale, and I'm moving upwards, once again, follow the arrows to the right this time. So if I start with nanometers and I want to convert to millimeters, you divide by 1,000 and then by another 1,000, because that's how many steps it takes to convert to millimeters. That means that I will take the amount in nanometers and divide by 1 times 10 to the 6th, or you move the decimal point 6 times to the left instead of to the right. You will notice that your numbers will get smaller because we're going from a smaller unit up to a larger unit, and we divide by our conversion factors. You can also use this table to figure out how many smaller units are in a larger unit. If you want to do that, let's say I want to know how many micrometers are in my meter, which is my base unit. Then put a 1 by the meter, by the larger unit. So 1 meter has 100 times 10 times 1,000 micrometers, or 1,000,000 micrometers. How many millimeters are in a centimeter? 1 centimeter has 10 millimeters. How many micrometers are in a centimeter? There are 10 times 1,000, 10,000 micrometers in 1 centimeter. Okay, so either way, you can find the conversion factor, or you can also just figure out how many zeros you're multiplying if you're going from top to bottom, or dividing if you're going from bottom up. Then all you have to do is move the decimal space to the right if you are multiplying, so if you're going from a larger unit down to the smaller unit, or you move the decimal point to the left by however many zeros if you are going from the lower units, so smaller units, up to bigger units.